everybody, this is JPar, and we're all hoping you're staying safe out there. I know it's been some crazy stuff going on out there, but yeah, we've been itching to do some new stuff for you. We're all safe here, and we want you to do the same out there. It's been some tough times, but we're going to try to provide some entertainment for you. Going to bring some new reviews out with a brand new style of show. We're going to do it online. We're going to be doing it while we're talking to each other. You're going to get to see our faces a lot more. And yeah, we're going to start off with Rise of Skywalker, and just stay patient with us. We're going to, play with the audio, play with the video. We're going to get better at this, and this is probably the show going forward. So let us know what you think. Definitely leave a comment, subscribe, give a like if you like this kind of stuff, and let us know what you think. And anyways, this is the new format, so on with the show.
Hi everybody, this is JPar, and that's right, we are reviewing Rise of Skywalker. And I mean, wow, look at this. Oh my god, right! Oh my god, she just made that crazy jump. Whew, but she jumped into another scene, so it's okay. Yeah, that's right, you're watching the trailer as I'm talking. Can you believe it? Wow, the production value of this show just went up like 10 times. That's right, we're doing a brand new show for you. We got video, you're gonna see our beautiful faces, so I hope you enjoyed, because here is the review of Rise of Skywalker. Hold on tight. Hi everybody, this is JPar, and you are watching the We Promise Nothing show. Tonight on the show, we have Scott.
Hey.
We have Kathy.
Hi.
And we have Dabu.
Hey, guys.
All right. And I know it's been a long time since you've heard our beautiful voices and maybe you've never seen our beautiful faces. But tonight, you are going to see our beautiful faces, and we're going to talk about Rise of Skywalker. Now, I know it's been a long time since we did this, folks, and, with all the crazy stuff that's going on in the world, we're itching to do something. How are you guys holding up?
Well, Oh, sorry. Yeah,
don't you all speak at once now.
Yeah. Well, I'm doing okay. I mean, it's a little bit lonely, but it's just me and Reese. You know what I mean? But other than that,
Who is Reese for the fans at home?
Oh, Reese is my cat, and he's adorable. Big.
Do you have video evidence?
I do, but he's kind of far. I'd have to go get him.
Oh, I see. Don't worry about it. All right, and Scott, how are you doing?
You will be seen. Oh, yes, he will.
Yeah, we're doing good.
Internet loves
I got lots of cheesies. I got lots of chopped ramen. It's all good.
Apparently all the essentials.
I think you got something in front of your camera there, Scott. You might want to move this thing on your right-hand side here.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so bear with us, folks. I mean, this is our first time doing video. And, there you go. Well, what is that thing?
Well, it's part of what I've got my phone propped up on here.
Oh,
yeah,
I gotcha. All right, then.
We got technical difficulties here. Gonna have to do some guerrilla tactics here. See if this works.
The magic of video, everybody.
There you go, movie magic. That worked.
Magic.
Fire the cameraman.
All right. So you might know Scotty from the JPar Plays videos. He's been in a few Red Deads and GTA videos there. Also, you reviewed Star Wars with us once on the We Promise Nothing show. That's
all factually correct.
And then Kathy, of course, from hosting the movie or the movie quote awards that just passed by. The movie quote awards. What am I talking about? Movie quote extravaganza.
I was wondering,
I don't know, man.
Where's my award?
So for the movie quotes extravaganza, Tres, where I became the two-time movie quotes champion. Kathy hosted that, and of course she's been on many reviews on We Promise Nothing. And Dabu, as my right-hand man, the person, my silent Bob to my J, if you will.
Silent Bob.
Not so silent Dave.
Not quite so silent, no.
All right, and today we are going to, speaking of movie magic, what about all that great magic that happened in Rise of Skywalker, the 9th episode in the Skywalker saga, Disney's Star Wars Rise of Skywalker. Let's just break it down. First, we're coming in off of Last Jedi, and just a little review. If you don't remember, I lambasted that movie. I despised it. So let's get around the table here. What do you guys think of Last Jedi before heading into Rise of Skywalker?
I actually liked it. I mean, it wasn't terrible. You know what I mean? Like, I like anything Star Wars, and yeah, they went a little off base on Star Wars, like Continuum or whatever. They did drop the ball a couple of times, but overall, I still enjoyed it.
Yeah, my favorite part is when Leia flew across the screen.
Oh wow, that was a little.
Dabu.
And Leia, yeah, we're not going to talk about that. Well, what are we talking about here?
We're talking about Last Jedi. What are your feelings about Last Jedi before going into Rise of Skywalker?
Well, we all know that it exactly wasn't their strong point. So yeah, we're pretty harsh on it. I mean, plenty of faults. I think it was the unfortunate thing that when you had two directors come in on the same project, let's face it, two different artistic point of views, you're going to obviously see a clash happen. I think that's exactly what ended up happening. Someone had a different point of view when coming upon the project. They decided, well, this is my chance to do my own thing, and I don't blame them. I guess I might have done the same, right? But the point is that it wasn't the vision that it started on. You go from Force Awakens to The Last Jedi, you right away see a big difference. And I think that's why going into Rise of Skywalker, we were all expecting, changes that would bring us back on track, and that's exactly why we're here. We're talking about it.
And Scott, Last Jedi, how were your feelings about that movie before we go into the review of Rise of Skywalker?
Yeah, generally I wasn't happy with it. I'm glad that Kathy enjoyed it, and I'm glad that it did find an audience and that people did enjoy it. But for me personally, I didn't like it. And it made me feel like, oh, okay, well, Star Wars is just not for me anymore. And I can go into all the reasons and plot holes and different characters I didn't like. Just generally, I wasn't impressed, and it was enough that I didn't go to the theater for the next one. I actually waited for it to come on Blu-ray because I didn't want the same thing to happen to me in the theater. That's kind of a downer, but yeah. Generally, I think I would give that movie like probably 2.5 or something like that.
Yeah, for me, it's the worst Star Wars movie. It's just so bad. It's because it's so non-Star Wars.
I concur. It's definitely the worst one for me too. Like if I had a list, then the worst one it would be there. I think it goes that movie, Attack of the Clones, and then Phantom Menace, and then the rest I can get into that.
And let's be honest, you're a huge Star Wars fan.
Yeah, definitely. I love Star Wars. Star Wars made me love movies, the way they're made and everything. It's great.
Exactly. All right, so so in case you don't know, this is episode 9 of the Skywalker saga, and it's it came out in December, so we've been a little bit behind in our reviews, folks, admittingly. But yes, stars Daisy Ridley, John Boyega. Who am I missing here? Of course, Carrie Fisher, Mark Hamill, and surprise, surprise, and this is where the spoilers come in, and Harrison Ford is in it as well. So, and also let's not forget about Adam Driver as Kylo. He did a great job. But so now let's break it down. First, and how we do that here, folks, is we're going to talk about we're going to give it a 5-star rating, and then we're going to explain how we got to that 5-star rating, and then we're going to save a little bit for the end because that's when we do our best and our worst. So let's start here with Scott. What's your rating and why do you give it that?
I give it a 3.5, which is where it sits. I enjoyed it a lot. I could see myself watching it again. There was things about it that I found silly, but they had a lot to deal with. Carrie Fisher died, so that's like a whole thing to deal with as far as the filmmaking process. It was nice that J.J. Abrams came back. you did a good job. I just like generally had a lot of fun with it, and that's why I would say 3.5 because I'm definitely gonna rewatch it.
Okay, and let's go, Kathy.
I'd probably give it a 4. Like there was the reason I give it a 4 is just like it had like Scott said, it had its silly moments and whatever. There were some things that I'm like, I didn't really like that part, but overall it was an excellent movie. I liked it. I just recently watched it, and yeah, it was good.
You give it a what?
I don't want to get into too many details
What'd you
because we're
give
going to get into that. A 4.
A 4. That's a really high rating. Like, what would you give the original trilogy?
Oh, 5, definitely.
Or all 5s, like Star Wars, Empire, and Jedi?
Well, 4.5 for Star Wars, 5 for Empire, and 4.5 for Jedi.
Oh, well, it's still quite high. But okay, Dabu.
Well, if we're talking Rise of Skywalker, I felt like I wanted to give it a 4, but I ended up thinking 3.5 is about as high as I can do. I think it's a lot more of what was expected. It had little to do with what it delivered, because let's face it, it had to, surpass what unfortunately The Last Jedi couldn't bring. So it had to make up for a little bit just before bringing its own thing to the table, right? So the film had a lot riding on it, and I think every time, when I think of how many times I've rewatched it, there are moments where I really do enjoy what was brought. That's specifically because of, I think, J.J. Abrams coming in on board for this third one. He started it, he had his vision, and I think going into the third one now, it made sense that he had to finish it if they were going to do this right. And when they did, it made sense that he would bring in some of those elements I saw him doing in the first movie in the first place. So that, for me, was what I was really excited about. And having seen it so many times, there are a lot of those moments where I really appreciate that. But so, yeah, 3.5 out of 5 for me.
Okay, and for me, I can't give it any more than a 3. It's only going to get a 3. And 3 is about where I put movies where I would, potentially re-watch them if I was feeling up to it. Anything below that is just like, kind of like movies I don't really want to watch again. So, 3 o'clock. 3 o'clock. Yeah, 3 o'clock. 3 stars. So a little noise went off and it threw me off. I don't know what the heck it was. So 3 stars is where that movie is for me. Because
I'm getting texted.
Like Dave said, has to try and make up for what Last Jedi didn't deliver on, and it felt like Abrams was trying to do a little bit of catch up on, because it's almost like Rian Johnson just came in and he didn't know anything about Star Wars. He looked at Abrams' script or looked at The Force Awakens. He's like, I don't want to do any of this. And then he just decided to do his own thing. I want to make a different Star Wars movie. I'm like, okay, cool for you, guy. Like, what about the rest of us Star Wars fans who are paying to see this stuff? Like, anyways. So, and that's it. It's very divisive. Like, I mean, it's divided the fan base. So that's another reason why I don't like Last Jedi. But yeah, this movie was severely hurt from Abrams just trying to do damage control. And I mean, there's even parts in the movie where they literally like kind of take Rian Johnson's ideas from Last Jedi and they're just like, no, that's stupid. That's not happening. Like there's like a part where like there's a scene where like literally John Boyega, who plays Finn, he's just literally to the Rose Tico character, just like, oh, you sure you're not coming there with us, Rose? It's like, oh no, sorry, I can't, because the fans hate me. Yeah, so I'm just gonna stay here.
I know. She's like, I gotta stay or something, eh? And then, and I remember saying out loud, yes, you do have to stay there.
And I know I was very happy.
I feel bad for the actress.
Coming on this mission.
I feel bad for the actress, but like the character is just really poorly written, and it sucks.
I feel bad for the actress too, because she was lambasted on Twitter by those terrible fans who like to. It's like, okay, you don't like the character. Is that really the actress's fault? Like, why are you going out of your way to, harass her? It's bad writing. Like, go blame Rian Johnson, not her.
Certainly not her fault, that's for sure.
I'm sure she did the best she could with what she had. I mean,
you can only do so much with space horses. So speaking of which, let's get into
as the old saying goes.
What's that?
as the old saying goes, you can only do so much with space horses.
You know, the old saying, that old tried and tested true saying. So speaking of which, let's get into our best and our worst. And I'll let you shoot off there first, Scott.
All right. So best and worst. All right. So I'll start with the best. Just generally good pacing for a movie. A lot of fun, a lot of excitement. A lot of great, brilliant special effects. Some good lines, some good humor. Just a really good balance of a story. And, so I think the best thing about it is that it's just fun all the way through. And it's done well. And J.J. Abrams can make movies. Anything that he ever made, I think I always liked it to a certain extent. It's the way he tells stories. I don't think he tells them quite as good as what they did in the original stuff, but he did the best that he could. Like when I watched it and I was done watching it, I felt like JJ did the best he could. Like he threw everything he had at it, and from filming to editing, he did the best he could, and it was good. It was a lot of fun. I really like Adam Driver. I really like the actress that plays Rey. I like John Boyega a lot. I watched him in a movie when he was a teenager called Attack the Block. I'd recommend that movie. It's super good.
Attack of the Block?
Attack the Block.
Attack the Block,
It's
okay.
called. Yeah, it was when he was lesser known. It's a good movie. I recommend it. So just generally a fun movie. And the things that I disliked about it, there wasn't too much. It was kind of some funny things, like when they gave Chewie a medal. Like for years, people online always talked about that Chewie never got a medal in A New Hope, and then they're like, "Okay, here, are you happy? We gave the dog a medal." Like, come on.
Oh, wait, isn't that like Leia's medal? Or something?
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. I have to watch it again. I only watched it
I'm
once,
not
but I'm pretty sure it's the medal from A New Hope, is it not?
Yeah,
Well,
the idea is
it
that
is.
one of the medals given to either Luke or Han.
Yeah, it must be
Han,
Luke or Han,
Must be
right?
Han's
And then
medal.
Leia had it.
by the way. Yeah, it could have been either one of them, but I kind of felt like it might have been Han's because of how close he was in relation with Chewie.
Well, there's a whole debate
That's
right
the whole
there.
well, that's the whole point of that. I would think is when they were giving him that medallion, it was in reminder of both Han and the fact that he deserved this medal himself. I think, at least that's the way I see it.
Okay, so favorite part was which? To recap,
My
Scott?
favorite part? Oh, my favorite part. I just said generally like the things I liked about it. So my favorite part, I kind of have to think back here.
You had to pick one thing.
I don't know. I guess it's like I know when she heals Kylo. And then he turns to the light side. I think that was the most emotional, impactful moment of the whole entire movie and possibly even the trilogy, other than Han's death. So at that point, it was nice, and we only get a small amount of time. That might actually be one of the parts I hate that I don't like, is that we didn't get enough time to spend with the Ben Solo character. Kind of only get a little bit of them.
Okay, so favorite is when Rey heals Kylo, and least favorite, we didn't get to explore Ben Solo enough.
That's right.
All right, Kathy.
Well, my favorite part, I got extremely excited when I saw the X-Wing, Luke's X-Wing. I don't know why. It got me all like,
Luke
yeah.
raising up the X-Wing, yeah.
Yeah, but I'm going to shorten this up a little bit. I'll go into more details later. But that also falls into my least favorite part, where they gave too many. They changed the Force a little bit too much for my liking. Like suddenly they'll be able to heal. Suddenly, they're able to share things cross-dimensionally. Suddenly they're able to, use the Force when you're dead. You know what I mean? Like, they didn't have that in any of the other movies, and then all of a sudden they're able to do this, which I can understand. Like everything else, things evolved, so I was able to explain it through that. But I was kind of like that. That's part of what disappointed me as well. They didn't follow the continuum, basically, of the Force. But But yeah, no, that was my favorite part. I don't know. There's something about that X-wing that gets me excited every time I see it. You know.
Oh, Luke raising the X-wing is your favorite, and least favorite is the new Force powers.
Yes.
Well, I mean, I definitely have to agree with some of the new Force powers, but I'll get into that when I get to mine. Dabu.
Yeah.
Well, for me, I think the hardest thing for me to find was, again, the best, simply because I know there was a lot of that making up for, as you had pointed out. J.J. Abrams was kind of making up for a little bit of the mess that was left behind after Last Jedi. So going forward, I had to appreciate a little of the developments that he had to, go back to since Force Awakens. So I have to appreciate it. The one thing I enjoyed the most, I think I had said before, was I think I got the Star Wars tingle at a certain moment. No, because when you really think about
Star Wars.
like the original trilogy kind of has that, certainly that nostalgic, tone and feel for a lot of us from back those years. So going, forward with some of these titles, this one needed to have a little bit of that. And I think I remember there was a moment, which was ultimately that clash between Lord,
Sidious?
well, yeah, thank you, Lord Sidious. And it was Rey who had to go toe to toe. And it was that one line she had used right after he said, I am all the Sith. And she said, I am all the Jedi. But anyway, that whole moment really got me going every time I had seen it. So that little tingle there was something I appreciated. So that was my favorite.
Well, we know that Kylo wanted to give Rey the tingle, that's for sure.
Yeah. Well, which is an interesting segue, because that's leading to my least favorite part. Honestly, I didn't quite see a love interest between both Rey and Kylo. It wasn't there for me. I can see maybe, how could I say? They obviously, he had written in that they were a dyad within the Force, so they were a unique bond within the Force, which allowed them to teleport things behind their backs. But that's beyond that. The introduction of these new Force powers is fine for me, I think, because as a Star Wars fan, I love the development of things we haven't seen before, which one of those things is ultimately the Force. So that's fine. That's a different discussion. I couldn't really pick on that. But again, when you look at Rey and Kylo and how they developed, I can't see either of these falling in love with one another, other than the fact that they see suddenly that bond between the two of them as the dyad. I don't know, I'm assuming as a dyad, are you meant to fall in love with each other? I don't know. How does that work? Is that something to do with the Force?
I don't know. They mentioned something.
That little Anakin character?
Yeah.
What's that?
He's got a little Anakin figure there.
Oh.
Kind of, yeah.
Oh, I see.
All right, so
Just a random thing beside me.
So yeah, my least favorite was
your worst.
I have random geek junk.
Yeah.
The worst of the love interest
was simply that, just it felt forced that love interest between the two characters just suddenly happened. Right, they had that kiss moment. I didn't like that. That just didn't feel right.
All right, and you said your best was when she said, "I am all the Jedi."
Well, just that moment. I think the lead up to it and the fact that you're looking for that Jedi magic, Star Wars magic, and I think that's why I love that moment the most. Right. It led up to it nicely.
For me, so my favorite part, this was for me a lot more fun than Last Jedi. Like Last Jedi was just so painful to watch, and this one it felt more like a Star Wars movie, so that I appreciated a lot more about it. For me, I think my favorite, 3PO had the best lines in this movie. Like he had all the best lines. He was like the funny one in this movie. So I liked him, and he was also like the character that we can all get behind, because he's one of the few of the original cast, right? Because it's not like Leia's going on this adventure with them, and Han's dead, and Luke's dead, unfortunately. So it felt a lot better. So I'm glad it felt like more like a Star Wars movie. So my favorite was like probably some of 3PO's lines. That's probably one of the favorite parts for me. And the other would be, I would say, you got the tingle, you say, when you say she's all the Jedi. I got the tingle when all the Jedi are talking to Rey, and then you hear Luke's voice say, "Remember, the Force will be with you always." That's when I got the tingle, because that's exactly what Kenobi said to Luke.
When you said that, I just got it. I just got it right here, like that tingle.
There
When
you
he
go.
did that.
Yeah, right. So
Yeah, it was very effective.
That was the lead up to that, right?
running out of time apparently. So I don't know how much more time is left.
It says this meeting is no longer has time limit.
So does it mean we're done?
I think so. Still recording? Still got the recording thing up there.
It says it's still recording, so let's wrap it up.
Yeah.
See what happens. Okay, so yeah, and my least favorite part was definitely the new force. What are you doing, Scott? Is definitely the new force powers. Like, what? How are they teleporting stuff behind their back? Like, Luke can't even like teleport like a vision of himself across space, and all of a sudden, Rey and Kylo are able to teleport like items, like actual matter, like across the galaxy. It makes no damn sense.
Well, that's
So
why they're
that
pointing
just
out how they
pisses me
emphasize
right
them
off.
being a dyad. It emphasized them being a dyad, right? So I think that's what they were running on
Don't
about.
go there with that diet. That's such
Well, that's the
Disney
unfortunate thing.
fan fiction. That's what that is.
JJ had to write I think something that much more interesting to go beyond what we typically knew of what the Star Wars universe had given us so far, and I think that's why he did that. It was like his last little addition to the world, with the exception of also the extra Jedi powers. But that's why those things I couldn't really pick at. I know why people would complain about it, because it was just too fucking convenient. Are you kidding me? Popping things up behind their backs. I mean, how they can get away with a lot, just those two characters alone. So obviously, what happened? They killed one off. Couldn't do anything.
And yeah, and as Scott said, there should have been more time with Adam Driver, Kylo Ren.
Well, which is why we never got that proper character development. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Ben Solo.
All right, I'm afraid we are probably running out of time on this, so we should probably wrap it up before we get cut off early. So, so for the record, we got what? I gave it a 3.5 from Scott, 3.5 from Dabu, and 4 from Kathy. All right, right.
As usual.
Skywalker, doing a lot better than Last Jedi, apparently.
Yeah.
But still, I mean, just go watch the originals. They're so much better.
Oh, and Mandalorian's excellent too. So,
any final comments, folks?
Watch The Mandalorian. It's awesome.
Oh yeah, watch The Mandalorian. That's what you should be watching. That is amazing.
Certainly, I've seen that by now.
And I'm sure we'll do a review of that sometime as well. But that is 10 times better than this. If you're a Star Wars fan, especially those original Star Wars, you're gonna love The Mandalorian.
I will say about Rise of Skywalker, it's still part of the series, and you still have to give it credit for what they're trying to bring to it. I think to the table.
Yeah.
So see it for at least that. I'm not saying it's worth a ton of rewatches. I'm just saying.
The story was done when
I know, but they had to put
Darth
it
Vader killed the Emperor. The story was done. Like
that's why they ended it this way, right? That's why they brought on.
Like we don't need a tacked on extra 3 ending, like extra 3 parts that had no direction. Thank you.
Well, now we look forward to new ones going forward.
Well, Darth Vader brings balance to the Force. I'm like, well, maybe not. There's a couple extra parts that happened after.
Yeah.
We're breaking open a whole new discussion here. Be careful.
Did you want to find out what happens after? Now to think about it, Anything else?
That's it for me.
All right. Well, this is
that was a lot of fun, though.
What's that?
I said this was a lot of fun.
Yeah, this was a lot of fun. We'll probably be doing some more. Keep an eye out. If you like this, make sure you like, subscribe, share. Check us out on Facebook. And, of course, we're also on Twitter. We promise nothing. Drop the G. And this is for the WPN, Scott, Kathy, Dabu. This is JPar signing out. And remember, if you don't agree with anything you heard in this review tonight, you can leave a comment below. But as always, we promise nothing. Good night. And next time, I promise that'll be synced up better. All right.